out how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
You're listening to the Wrestlebread podcast.
Cut the shit.
How many red carpets you guys want to walk in your $4,000 ridiculous heels? You will never be able to lace up my Chuck Taylors.
This is your fault. This is your fault.
I didn't get mad when you stole all my moves.
Your daddy's not here anymore.
How was your movie, by the way? I missed it.
Mine went straight to DVD, just like yours.
Careful you don't hurt your neck again going through those ropes.
about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
You're listening to the Wrestlebread podcast.
Cut the shit.
How many red carpets you guys want to walk in your $4,000 ridiculous heels? You will never be able to lace up my Chuck Taylor.
This is your fault. This is your fault.
I didn't get mad when you stole all my moves.
Your daddy's not here anymore.
How was your movie, by the way? I missed it.
Mine went straight to DVD, just like yours.
Careful you don't hurt your neck again going through those ropes.
Difficulties. I see myself on stream on my tablet, but not in Streamlabs. Can you tell that I am in charge of the stream tonight, ladies and gentlemen, with my whack ass internet that seems to be going on? Thanks, I-95, because it was all good until I clicked a tweet because I see that AEW Collision is going to be live on demand with AEW Plus. And I was like, wait, that can't be true. This has to be like on cable or something like that. And I went to click that. And then next thing I know, everything is like all frozen. So I can't see myself in the thing, but I see I'm all good on the stream, that you guys can see me and hopefully hear me. Looks like it, yeah. So we just gonna keep rolling. Well, what's going on? This is Jaydee. This is episode 190 of the Wrestlebread podcast. And it's just been a fun week this week with all the fun that I've been having with my internet. As you know, the screen is still frozen on the sports logo portion of the introduction, but it is okay. It is completely okay. Traffic has been horrible in Philly because of I-95. People decided to take the back roads. And because of that, I went to the market today, which normally would take a 10-minute drive, ended up being almost like a 45-minute drive because everybody had to detour to get back onto I-95. So it's been a lot of fun. And I'm connected to the computer is connected to the landline. So I'm not understanding why it's like slight technical difficulties. And I even restarted the computer before I started the stream. But we are here now. Everyone is here. You are here listening and watching. And it's been a great week, first of all, in wrestling. First of all, shout out to the chat. For everyone's coming in. We got Tim. What's up, First Lady? Make sure y'all check out the Tim King show. I was on there yesterday. We did the AEW review show where we had recapped a great episode of AEW Dynamite, of course. And then all the way from the future, the broadcast. What up, Jaydee? Make sure you check out the broadcast podcast as well, too. And then just in time, because he's always just in time, salute to the first effing lady. And then Dom, finally, you're so glad your internet came back in time to check out the stream. So, there we go. Now everything caught up. I could see myself. I could see the comment. I could see the comments on the screen. So I could see what you see now. And then of course everybody's greeting each other. All good now, good on both. So we're all good. So first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Jaydee, the first effing lady of the Bloodline Entertainment podcast. If you don't know what the Bloodline Entertainment Network is, first of all, it is a great network of amazing people. If you like sports entertainment, fantasy football, fantasy baseball, MMA, gaming, movies, and everything. It is all in one location. Instead of you having to click on different websites and having all these tabs open, you can get all your information located in one website, and that is the Bloodline Entertainment Network. Um, And make sure you go to the website. A lot of great articles. There's also a lot of other podcasters too. A lot of great podcasts that is associated with the Bloodline Entertainment Network. Cage My IQ, Circle Debate, Clark Street Wrestling Podcast, the Out of Here podcast, Raw Dogging with De Niro, where he watches the last 30 minutes of Raw. You can watch it along with him. Roto Slappers, Top Rope Wrestling Talk. Like I said, the Broadcast Podcast, the Debate Center, the Tim King Show, the Universal Wrestling Podcast, the Director's Cut, and then we have a new show as well, Tea and Hot Takes with host Will Gray. Most recently did a great interview with NWA star Alex Taylor. So be sure to check that out and check out everything with the Bloodline Entertainment Network as well. And speaking of amazing people, first of all, the Presidente of the Bloodline Entertainment Network. Avon, what's going on, First Lady? Put them ones up for the Queen of the Bloodline. Yes, put your ones up for yourselves as well and acknowledge us, okay? Like I said, it's been a great week in wrestling. A lot of things has been popping up. We're about to go through some couple of weeks of some crazy wrestling and shows as well, as we have AEW Collision coming up this Saturday. Then next week we have Forbidden Door, and then the week after that we have Money in the Bank as well. So we'll be going through. I'll be recapping a lot of things that's happened this past week as well. Whoops. So starting off, we're gonna get into some little bit of dirt sheets. What's the dirt round here? We all keep talking about how good Raw is, and as it keeps saying that Vince McMahon has been calling in to make a few changes on Raw. So I really didn't check out on Twitter or anything like that if people have been now taking back their praises of Raw or anything like that. But that Vince been calling in and doing his changes, doing changes to Raw remotely and everything. But Raw this past week was a very good show. Dynamite was a very good show, and SmackDown it was good. I mean, of course there were some hiccups with everything as well, but overall it was a good show. But sources as told Sports Illustrated that WWE introduced new titles for Roman Reigns, Asuka, and Rhea Ripley because Triple H wanted to freshen up all the titles and present it with a new look. Which we have seen. We've seen Rhea and Asuka get new belts. We saw the Tribal Chief get a new belt as well. We see the bigger W, but with the World Heavyweight title and then with Rhea's title, it's a completely different design. Of course, the big W is there to stay because of branding. I mean, look what happened when they gave the belt to Patrick Mahomes. He wore the belt for like almost a week, which is great promotion for WWE. You see Patrick Mahomes wearing a belt, you wonder what the hell is he wearing? Boom, it takes you to WWE. So so that W isn't going to go away. I'm fine with the way that the belts look. I know for some people it takes some time to get used to, but at least it's not color coded. Like we don't need to figure out. We don't need blue. We don't need red or anything like that. But of course, Triple H has shown us that he loves gold. Also, regarding another report too with WWE's media rights negotiation. WrestleVotes is claiming there's big time interest from WWE in a Disney partnership. Other partners are enticing, but WWE sees the Disney deal as a win-win. So I'm very interested. I don't know what that would look like as far as WWE and Disney. Like, will SmackDown and Raw suddenly go to the Disney Plus outlet? Are we going to be, seeing interactions? Because one thing about Disney will pump the hell out of projects. Okay, we've seen it with Star Wars, we've seen it with Marvel. Like we will see WWE stuff all over the place. Okay, um, so who knows? I don't know what it's going to look like. I'm very interested on what it's going to look like as well. Um, but yeah, I and I'm very curious of, like I said, with if they do go with Disney, what's going to happen to Raw and SmackDown of where they're going to be sitting at as well. So yeah, that it wasn't too much news out there. It was mainly just all about um the media rights, stuff like that. Things that we already heard about with Vince calling in, what's going on with Drew McIntyre's contract. Allegedly, there's interest with the elite with WWE because they haven't really finished up their contracts yet either. Um, so yeah. So as my kids are on summer break, so they see mom recording and speaking live, and they decided that all of a sudden they want to try to ask mama questions while she is recording. Um so anyway, so let's get into some recaps as well. Um like I said, overall, Raw, SmackDown, and Dynamite was really good shows. Um, Getting into SmackDown first, of course, we had more qualifications for Money in the Bank with Santos Escobar and Mustafa Ali. We also had, wait a minute, that's not the right one. Oh, that is the right one. Okay. Yeah, so we have more qualifications for the Money in the Bank match as well. We had more interactions with AJ Styles and Karrion Cross as well, and then there's going to be a gauntlet match with there's going to be a gauntlet match for the number one contender for the tag team titles as well too. Um, but I like for real, I will not be mad if for the summer we had Imperium going against KO and Sami Zayn, because the match that we had on Raw and just all the interactions between them has been like top tier. So I wouldn't be mad if we get like KO and Gunther, if we had Sami Zayn and Gunther, if we had like we saw a 3 versus 3 match as well. I wouldn't be mad at any of that at all. Okay. So we also had more about the bloodline, which of course is the biggest thing that we have going of all. Shout out to Streets, the First Lady is live. Thank you so much for tuning in as well. Of course, we got more breakdown of the bloodline, the biggest storyline that WWE has going on. With Jimmy turning on the tribal chief, we have basically where does Jey Uso going to stand? I was shocked that it was Jimmy who turned on the tribal chief. Of course, all of us thought it would be Jey Uso that would do it, but Jimmy decided to stay with, stand up for his brother. And then of course Solo decided to stay with the tribal chief. So this week we had, what is Jey Uso going to do? Is he going to fall in line with the tribal chief? Is he going to stick with his brother Jimmy as well? Just a lot of he's so conflicted, and the facial expressions that he was giving for what's going on has been like chef's kiss. Somebody needs to give this man an award. So we had Paul Heyman come out, told Jey Uso that he's going to get a title match for the United States Championship that night. So, he'll get his, and then, told Jey Uso the reason why, you know, it's been, more attention been put on you and why Jimmy maybe may have turned on a bloodline is because he is envious of you, because once the tribal chief hangs up his belt, it's going to be you who's going to be at the head of the table, which is like, whoa, okay. And then he told Jay, let us know where you stand, this, that, and the third. And Jay said, I'll think about it. And so he did decide to take up on the title match, which we had him versus Austin Theory. I feel slightly bad for Austin Theory because Austin Theory has been pretty much like a just like an afterthought at this point. The man went from just completely dominant and just like constantly on Raw and SmackDown and defending his title and having these feuds to now he's just been thrown people. And I'm hoping that eventually we'll get back to making the United States Championship feel important. I mean, look at Gunther and how they're treating his title run. So I'm hoping that's what they do for Theory eventually, instead of kind of using him as a bit of a piece for the bloodline. But we'll see. Maybe this, with what's going on, maybe Theory will start to get a little bit more involved. Now we had the match between Jey Uso and Theory, and then we had Pretty Deadly who came in and attacked, and then that's when Jimmy came in. Solo then appeared and attacked Jimmy Uso, and then Jimmy Uso went to super kick Solo, but then he got Jey Uso instead, and in Theory covered Jey Uso for the pinfall. And then, of course, Jimmy tried to console Jey Uso, and Jay pushed him away. And and then Heyman went to try to talk to Jey Uso. He walked off, and then you just see fucking Paul Heyman like this, like call the tribal chief. And so, of course, now we're gonna fucking see what happens this week as far as what the tribal chief is going to do. What is Jay going to do? What is Jimmy going to do? Solo, Heyman. It's just like the cracks are there, but we're still continuing on with the storyline. And listen, I still want my Uso versus Uso match, okay? It doesn't have to be a straight up feud or anything like that. We can simply have, let's just hash it out in the ring and just get it together. And then they can come back together, okay? If I get that Uso match, like serious,
Oh, boy! Yeah!
like that would be my reaction. I know it's going to be a very good match. Okay. We all know it's going to be a very good match. I know it's going to be, eventually they'll super kick each other and go down or something like just like oh my gosh. Just like Creed versus Rocky when they sit there and punch each other at the same time. I see that happening with the Usos, like a super kick to each other at the same time. Um Tino, what's going on? Hey, what's up, Bloodline family? Thank you so much for tuning in. Definitely. Thank you so much for tuning in. As we talk about the bloodline here, of course. But yeah, I hope we get that matchup between them two. It looks like we're gonna eventually get it. Like, I don't even know if we'll just simply get Roman and Solo versus the Usos or what, because the twists and turns that this storyline has taken, like it's been going down so many damn paths. It's just completely crazy. Um, but I can't wait. And of course, we have the tribal chief showing up tomorrow as we work towards Money in the Bank. Because we still got more matches that we have to set up. Of course, what is Roman going to do at Money in the Bank? If he is going to be at Money in the Bank. But I'm very sure at least part of the bloodline is going to be represented at Money in the Bank. So that's pretty much what we had for Raw. I mean, we got more of the Money in the Bank qualification matches. For the men's side, is pretty much set. We have Ricochet, Shinsuke Nakamura, LA Knight, Santos Escobar, Butch, and Damian Priest for the men's Money in the Bank contract, which, in my opinion, is like chef's kiss. I didn't think that we would get. I didn't really think that we would get something like this, like very unique. Every single person has an opportunity to win the money in the bank. Like definitely a game changer as far as if anyone who wins the briefcase. I know a lot of people are hoping that it's LA Knight. But for real, like any one of these people, I would be completely fine with. Of course, Damian Priest. I am a big fan of Damian Priest. With Butch, this could be a repack, not really a repackage. I think we're, the name Butch is here to stay, but mainly a repackage of getting to what, as far as Pete Dunne's wrestling style, the bruiserweight and everything like that. Um, Santos Escobar, of course, with LWO and Rey Mysterio and everything like that, get that going, get them back into the main picture again. Of course, LA Knight, like I cannot wait for LA Knight to, get the rocket and shoot to the moon. Shinsuke Nakamura, who I think is the coolest motherfucking person in all of the land. And then Ricochet, of course, from him having pretty much being the sidekick of Braun Strowman, and now he's definitely starting to get a push as well. Ben Buster, what's up, y'all? Was able to get on just now. Hey, don't even matter what time you hop in here. I appreciate the fact that you are here. So thank you for tuning in as well. And then for the women, we have, as of right now, we still got one person to go. We have Zelina Vega, Becky Lynch, Zoe Stark, Bailey, and Io Sky. I am very biased to Io Sky. I love Io Sky. Zoe Stark, like she has potential. Of course, this is, setting up a feud between Becky Lynch and Zoe Starks. Obviously, Trish is going to pop up somewhere around here. But oh my gosh, Zoe with that promo that she had, I felt bad for her because like she has potential, but it's just like she was messing up, and I don't know where that came from. As far as when I forgot what she was saying. Like, have you looked in the mirror? Like, come on, ma'am, get it together. Um, I know Trish has been trying to help her. Trish was probably sitting in the back, like,
No, she can't.
like that's your name on it, ma'am. That's your little protege. And she had her one time to, get the opportunity to let herself shine. And she kind of like fell flat on her face. Ben Buster said Becky doesn't need the briefcase. She doesn't. She doesn't need a briefcase. That's why I think that she was thrown into this match just to set up that feud between her and Zoe, and Trish will show up somewhere. Now I forgot what the last qualifying match will be. Um, I forgot what's the last qualifying match. Uh, and I'm very sure it's happening tomorrow. But I forgot who it's between. But I feel like it can go. I hope it goes to Io Shirai. Io Shirai, Io Sky. I'm calling her by her NXT name. I'm hoping it goes to Io. Um, it's very possible that they'll throw it to Zelina Vega as kind of like a swerve, especially the fact that look at the men's Money in the Bank match. This is all new people, um, a whole new different ball game. I feel like whoever wins that Money in the Bank contract more likely will cash in on Seth Rollins or whoever is the champ at that time. And for the women, it really depends on who wins it. I mean, I'm going to assume you can cash in on either women's champion. It doesn't really matter if it's a Raw or SmackDown person who won. You can just cash it in on the other person, end up on Raw or SmackDown. I did hear that they are still like trying to finalize the actual rosters for the brand split until they figure out things. Which truthfully kind of makes sense because you do want to figure out like fan reaction. Like it may be better for someone to be on Raw because of certain feuds that's happening versus sticking to them on SmackDown. Of course, we see a lot of people back down at NXT. We see Dana Brooke, Baron Corbin as well. Mustafa Ali is in NXT as well. So there's a lot of things that is going on as far as with this whole shakeup and everything. Um and then I felt bad too for Finn Balor, for that Finn Balor and Seth segment. I had to like turn it off because like I'm all for fans getting, getting involved and stuff like that and making the show fun. But when they take over a segment like that, and it was to the point that even Seth Rollins was trying to like hint to the crowd to like let Finn speak, and it kind of gave me like the whole what chant that everybody loves to do, and I kind of like turned off the segment. I know that the story was that of course Finn Balor was the first Universal Champion, and then Seth then won it, and so now he wants his redemption and stuff like that. So, you know, I um I felt bad though for Finn because it felt like we were going to get a very good segment, but of course the fans kind of hijacked it this segment. Ben Buster said, "Why aren't Los Lotharios part of LWO?" I don't know. I feel like the thing is with WWE, when it comes to factions, it's very hard for them to set up like actual feuds. Like they can do the 3 versus 3 and stuff like that. But as we saw, like with LWO, it's been mainly concentration on either Ray or recently Zelina Vega. Like, um, oh my gosh, not San not Santos. Legado del Fantasma, they haven't been featured as a trio since they came to LWO. It's been mainly like Santos Escobar. So I don't know. I feel like once like WWE treats tag teams better than trios and factions, in my opinion. Because look at Imperium. Even though Imperium is a trio, they separated them into a tag team and then an individual wrestler. And even with the Bloodline, it was tag team Uso, solo individual, and Roman Reigns individual. Even though they all like interfered to in each other's matches, but it's not like how like we have with AEW where it's faction versus faction. Like like they can easily like how AEW can do Anarchy in the Arena, Blackpool Combat Club versus the Elite. WWE doesn't really do that because WWE mainly concentrate on individuals and tag teams more than trios and factions. Which is a shame because they were pretty good at factions back in the day. I mean, D Generation X, the Ministry, the Corporation, the Corporate Ministry. I know I'm forgetting. I know I'm forgetting more factions, but yeah, they were pretty good with factions back in the day. But like, I don't know if it's just like they rather concentrate on individual and tag teams, but they definitely fell off as far as with that. Um yes, that's pretty much and then of course the title of the episode, did someone say new titles? We like I said, we had new titles introduced for Rhea Ripley, which I'll get into, and Roman Reigns, but we had the title introduction for Asuka on SmackDown. And then, yes, Domination. I knew I was forgetting some. Nation of Domination, DX. There was another few. Of course, Evolution. Was it Legacy? Like there was a lot of the Job Squad. Yes, there were a lot of factions back in the day um that WWE was like really good with, but like they really fell off with it now. And I don't know if it's because they, don't want to concentrate too much on factions anymore. But I feel like that's why. Like they could easily do LWO and the Bloodline feud because it's faction versus faction. Um, you know, actual bloodline versus, heritage type of bloodline. But WWE don't do it just don't do the feuds very well. They could even do like Imperium versus LWO since Imperium is a faction as well. But yeah, I don't know. like I said, they just concentrate on tag teams. Like they can't even get the tag team portion right. Like look at the women's tag team division. They just been throwing people together and just calling it a day. So it's crazy. Um but yeah, so we had Asuka who got a new belt. Bianca Belair, of course, wants her title shot back. Because she lost the title, but it's because Asuka, put the mist in her eyes, stuff like that, which is the most creative finish I've seen for Asuka. And so Adam Pierce was like, basically calm the fuck down, let me present this title, and you will come back to your request. So Asuka got presented with the belt, and then, like I said, did somebody say new title? Here come fucking Thanos, aka Charlotte Flair, who sees a new infinity, new infinity stone, because there's a new belt, and she comes in and sits there and says, "I want that belt too. I want it as part of my collection." And so I don't know if Adam Pierce was like trying not to have this match happen. But then Asuka was like, "Okay, I'll fight you. Nobody is ready for Asuka." And so, Adam Pierce as the official, he made it official somehow, some way. Or no, I don't think it's actually official, but I think it's going to happen, of course, because Asuka accepted the challenge, and that be that. Charlotte is inedible. She is like fucking Thanos out here, just collecting all the damn titles. She is trying to be the newer version. Like she is trying to be the belt collector out here. Like if WWE was able to go to different promotions, I'm very sure Charlotte Flair would be the one that would go to different promotions to try to get the title. Um, but then afterwards, we see Bianca Belair come back and it's like, what are we doing here? I wanted the title shot. Charlotte comes out of nowhere, immediately gets a title shot. What's going on? And then of course she has the facial expressions, stuff like that. And Adam Pierce is like, I gotta figure it out, this, that, and the third. And we're starting, like, I know everybody's been wanting it. I know everybody's been wanting it. Um, for us to see the Bianca Belair of NXT, but when she was sitting there doing the facial expressions, and people sat there and like did a video of just her facial expressions, of course everybody
let the hate flow through you.
Like definitely. I was a fan of Bianca Belair in NXT. I felt as though there was something missing with her when she was a heel in NXT, and I when she came up on the main roster and she was face, I was like, okay, this is probably what was missing. Like I felt as though maybe it just wasn't connecting as far as her being a heel because she was so nice. But I think it could have been mainly a confidence thing, because now she's been the face of the company, all going all around the world, champion, this, that, and the third, and it's pretty much like she was the it person for a very long time. I think now for her to go to heel now, it's going to go way up there. It's going to be bonkers, and I can't wait to see that. She's going to like promo the things that she's going to do, the things that she's going to say. It's going to be like chef's kiss, okay? And then speaking of the belt being presented, we also had Miss Rhea Ripley come out to be presented with the belt on Raw. Of course, I am a big fan of Rhea Ripley and Jade Cargill every time they come on the screen.
God damn.
Respectfully, respectfully. But yeah, Rhea Ripley comes out to get her new belt. I believe so. The thing that confuses me is the wording with the championship. So I think Asuka is WWE Women's Championship, and then Rhea is just World Women's Championship. I think that's the difference between the two, since there is no heavyweight division with the women. So Rhea Ripley is the world champion, world women's champion, and Asuka is the WWE women's champion. And so Rhea's belt looks just like the same, pretty much the same design as Seth Rollins, except for with the white strap, which I'm a fan of as well. And then Dom comes out and celebrates with her. Somebody please check on Buddy Matthews. Of course, he comes out, gives her a hug, put the title on her and everything like that. And then we had the segment later on with it was the segment with Cody Rhodes on I think Cody came out during the segment, because I'm thinking Ms. TV, but that was the week before. I didn't do my podcast last week, so I may be putting segments together. So first of all, we had Cody Rhodes on Ms. TV last week, where Dom comes in, slaps the shit out of him, and runs. So because of that, we had Cody comes out again, and we had him confront Dominic as well. And we had Rhea, who sat there and said, let me get her wording correct. She said that Dom is a bigger man than anyone watching at home. And I need somebody to check on fucking Buddy Matthews, because she is fully like giving, like, what can you say? Dom is a bigger man than anyone watching at home. I didn't know if he tweeted anything, if Buddy Matthews tweeted anything, but I'm sure he sat there and said like, "Oh, I didn't watch Raw tonight. What happened?" But if he was watching Raw,
No, she can't.
I'm built differently.
there we go. I was trying to play the clip. So what I was saying was, if you heard me, I was saying that Buddy Matthews was definitely sitting there crying after he heard that what Rhea Ripley said, putting over Dominic like that. And then Dominic, of course, telling Cody that he is a bad father, and that because he's not at home with his kid and stuff. And there were like whispers between wrestling fans that apparently Brandy Rhodes is supposed to be coming back, which I'm like, she can stay home. I don't need her to come out and sit there and say, "No one told you that tonight was open mic night, bitch." I don't need all that. I don't need all that. It'll mute you on it. Yeah, I actually was hitting, so, my technical difficulties. I actually was hitting a clip to play, and it muted me, but it didn't play the clip. So that's what happened there. I was trying to play a clip of Morris Chestnut crying, because that's what Buddy Matthews was doing at home, was sitting there crying, and it muted me, but it didn't play the clip. Thanks, I-95 collapse. But nah, maybe I shouldn't joke about that. But yeah, it's my internet has been very wonky. I don't know why. If you was with me for late night gaming with Jaydee on Tuesday, like, my internet was very shoddy, and it was all good today. I was able to like hop on and surf the internet a little bit and stuff, and then I come to, come here, to stream the episode, to live stream the episode, and it starts getting wonky then. But yeah, so then we had Cody sitting there saying that Brock Lesnar is running away from him and stuff. I'm like, my guy, like, I don't know what is going on with Cody that he's sitting here and trying to make it seem like Brock Lesnar is a bitch. I'm like, I don't know what you've been watching. Like, I don't know if you haven't been watching WWE since you've been gone, but Brock Lesnar is not the guy to fuck with. So so then we had Cody who challenged Dominic to a match. And I remember when I mentioned when with Cody going against the tribal chief and then going against Brock Lesnar. I sat there and said that they're putting him against big heels so that he can be underdog and babyface. And I was like, I don't know who he's going to go against next. And we got the answer, the next big heel in WWE so that he can be an underdog and a babyface, Dominic Mysterio. And I know he's going to make it, he's going to sell great for Dominic. He's going to make it seem like Dominic is beating the shit out of him. I mean, he already has he had the broken arm. Maybe Dominic will hurt an ankle or something like that too. I was in mine too. It was out for a day, then shoddy as fuck. We finally came back full effect tonight. I feel you, homegirl. Yeah, I don't know what the hell is going on. Like my computer is connected to the landline. My PlayStation's connected to a landline, and I paid Verizon enough money to hold enough bandwidth to support this damn household because this household, mother, father, son, daughter, we're all gamers. We have tablets, we have phones, everything is fucking connected to the internet. And I made sure, and we work from home. And so I made sure there is enough to handle all of us doing all of our shit at the same time, which has been very good for, let me see, I upgraded like, 2 years ago, I think at this point, and it's been completely fine until recently, which is weird. But I've been hearing other people having issues with their internet and it's been wonky. So I'm just going to say that we're going to blame UFOs or something. It's the aliens. Somebody get Will Smith somewhere. So that's why I'm going to blame that shit on. But yeah, so, and then what is going on with Cody Rhodes? I guess his arm is miraculously healed because he is using it even though it's in the cast. The titanium cast, by the way. So I'm going to assume that Cody is good because when he was wrestling, he was fine with the arm. He was wrestling The Miz. He was completely fine with the arm. He was using the arm and stuff like that and everything. So I guess if you use a titanium, I guess if you use the titanium cast, it's all good. Dom said, I figured you blamed Cody. Well, no, Cody. Yeah, I should have blamed Cody. I should have blamed Cody because I've been sitting here talking mad shit about him and stuff. But yeah, that was a missed opportunity on my part to blame Cody Rhodes for it. Because he's not underdogging and stuff like that. Cody would probably come on here and sit there and say his internet's been out for the past 9 months and he had to get on a bike and sit there and crank the fucking energy for the city or something like that. That's probably what that is. But yeah, that was a missed opportunity to blame Cody Rhodes for my shoddy internet. So now we have Cody Rhodes going against Dominic at the Money in the Bank premium live event. So of course we'll more likely have Brock Lesnar interfere in that match. And then we'll have Cody versus Brock at SummerSlam in Detroit at that point. But I'm going to guess we're going to continue the feud between Cody and Dominic because Cody has to go against the biggest heels before they figure out what the hell they're going to do next with him. If he is eventually going to go against Roman Reigns at Mania 40 or whatever, or if he is like going to continue another chapter in the story, because he's still saying finish the story. And I'm like, bro, are you finishing the story with the WWE Championship or the World Heavyweight Championship? There's 2 titles now. Where does the story end? Because you got beat by the Tribal Chief, so I don't know if that's what he means by finish the story or not, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, they definitely are lining him up against the big heel so that he can stay the ultimate babyface, which is what we're gonna get with Dominic, because everybody boos Dominic. Look, I respect Dominic Mysterio. I doubted him a hell of a lot when he initially was turning heel, but he definitely grew on me as a heel. He's been doing amazing as a heel, just straight up trolling everyone, getting everyone to just boo the shit out of him and everything like that. Yeah, so just chef's kiss for that man. But yeah, so that's pretty much that's pretty much everything that happened with Raw and SmackDown. Just a good weeks, like I said, as far as on WWE side, as far with what's going on with Bloodline, Cody, the new titles, the women's division stuff. Only thing that's iffy is just the women's tag team division, which that has always been. The women's tag team division has always been like up and down as far as booking and figuring things out. I think there is a rumor that they're thinking about combining the NXT women's tag team titles and the main roster women's tag team titles. I don't know if that will lead to NXT women's tag teams going after the belt or something, because I think that was originally what Sasha Banks and Bayley wanted with the belt, was for the belt to be able to travel between not only Raw and SmackDown, but with NXT as well. Which, when they went down to NXT to challenge people down there, that was like completely fine. I was fine with that, to have the belt travel with NXT as well. But we'll see about that. So going into AEW Dynamite, great show yesterday. If you didn't check out the AEW recap show with me and TK yesterday, be sure to go on the Bloodline Entertainment Network YouTube channel and check it out. We broke down everything that has happened on Dynamite. I'll kind of like go through an overview of how I felt. I was very surprised that we got Adam Cole and MJF. I thought that they wouldn't do it. I figured that they wouldn't give us the match right away, especially for free, which is what they did yesterday. First of all, shout out to Faction Cast Podcast, slowly making NXT a third brand. That's what Triple H had wanted to do before, during the Black and Gold era. And it seems like, they're slowly trying to make it a third brand, especially the fact that we have people from the main roster going to NXT as well. I mean, because they don't get people from the indies, it is still slightly developmental, especially since they have the rookies on there. Unless they're making NXT level up the especially if they're making the NXT level up the actual developmental, and then have NXT the like precursor for the main roster. But and then yes, Faction Cast, no Jade, trash Diamond. She's normally on Rampage, to be fair. She is normally on Rampage, but yes, Jade Cargill, since she lost the belt, has been, been off TV for a little bit, taking a slight vacation, but yeah, she's not on there. But yeah, I'm sure a lot of people are like,
I quit AEW. Peace.
exactly. Like they quit AEW because Jade Cargill isn't on there anymore. As of right now, I should say not anymore. But I feel like she's getting a breather, and she's going to come back and she's going to whoop ass. She could come back at Collision. Who knows? It could be that she will be exclusively on Collision as well. But like I said, I was very surprised we got Adam Cole and MJF. It's like a good thing that we got it, but also not a good thing because um the thing that once you get the match, it kind of like takes the magic away from how these two people are going to face each other for the first time. And especially the fact that we're paying $50 for AEW pay-per-views. Like, for paying $50, you better give us everything. Like, everything must be exciting. It was a great match between these two. MJF pulling out moves that pulling out different offense and stuff like that. But yeah, then this went to a time draw, which no, AEW doesn't do it all the time, but when they really want to save things for a pay-per-view or for another time, they'll be quick to do the time draw, the fuck finishes and stuff like that. So that was slightly annoying as well. And then we had the stare down between Sting and Chris Jericho, and I didn't know that Sting and Chris Jericho never faced each other. I could have sworn it happened in WCW, but apparently it didn't happen. So looks like that's where we're going to eventually go. A Sting versus Jericho match, which I won't be mad at because Sting can still go. Like, I am so damn jealous of Sting. Sting needs to drop like whatever the fuck he is doing to be able to do what he does. Like, I get scared going down a flight of stairs. This man is sitting here wrestling fucking 60 something years old and wrestling with people like more than half his age and still looking good and everything. So I need him to drop the whatever it is, eating diet, exercise, like vampire shit. Like, what the fuck are you doing that you're still able to do things at that type at that level? We had the 8-man tag as well. Like I said, with Sting in it and everything, and then Keith Lee with the sometimes the wizard cape that he wears and stuff like that. I miss like Keith Lee, like in Black and Gold NXT Keith Lee. Like, we haven't had that guy in a long while. I mean, he looked good in the match and everything, but he's starting to go missing as well. Faction Cast said Adam Cole has to go through trials and tribulations just like all the other feuds, which I figured that's why I figured would happen. But the fact that we immediately got the one-on-one with him and the fact that we immediately got the one-on-one between him and Adam Cole is that fucking surprised the shit out of me. Dom said hardcore grandpa aka Sting gives me hope as I age. Yes, as I'm turning 40, I have hope because Sting out here just like letting me know that when there is hope when I get to that age that I will not be in a fucking on a cane walker and stuff like that. Faction Cat says Grandpa Lee. Yeah, he looks like I'm sure you guys all saw the Ten Commandments drawing that they always play on Easter, how Moses went, he saw God and his hair immediately turned white. That gave me those vibes with Keith Lee. Like, one day he was young, the next day he looks like Gandalf with a buzz cut. Like, it completely confused the hell out of me. I was like, is this a gimmick with him with the white hair or something like that? Like, that confused the hell out of me. Um, and then we also had we starting to get a lot of setups and matches for Forbidden Door as well. When we had the finale of Black Hole Combat Club going against the Hung Bucks, which that name always gets me. That was a crazy match. First of all, Brian Danielson on commentary is amazing. He was cracking me up on there. The finish to Dynamite definitely gave me like old school SmackDown vibes. When it be the SmackDown before the pay-per-view and they want to cause all the chaos and craziness, that's exactly what happened at the end of Dynamite, where we had the end of the match, where we had the Hung Bucks who defeated where Hangman Page had pinned Wheeler Yuta. they need to put respect on Wheeler Yuta's name. Like, he's from Philly, but that man always be the one that gets pinned, that gets the BTE trigger and all that other shit. Like, come on, man. But yeah, so then after the match, we had everyone attacking everyone, and then out comes fucking Eddie Kingston, and it's just like, yo, that popped me. He immediately went for Claudio. Of course, the biggest feud that we had was, him and Claudio. He immediately goes for him. And then, of course, it's just like so much shit because he has issues with Claudio. He doesn't like Bryan Danielson, but he's cool with John Moxley. So then the Young Bucks aren't cool with the Blackpool Combat Club, of course. They think that Eddie Kingston is there to help them. And then so they start attacking Moxley, and then Eddie Kingston pulls one of the Young Bucks off of Moxley. Like, this shit was just straight up like fucking 90s high school and shit. Like, all this, all the factions, all the people who don't like this person, and because this person's cool with this person, they don't like that person, like just straight up high school shit. And so Eddie Kingston comes out, start attacking. And then Eddie and Moxley gets face to face. And then the Young Bucks started attacking John Moxley again. And then Konosuke came in, Takeshita comes down, and he starts attacking Eddie Kingston. And then because of that, out comes Kenny Omega as well. And he starts attacking Takeshita and everything like that. And then he goes for a V trigger. And then out comes Will Ospreay, and he goes and takes down Kenny Omega with a super kick. And I'm sitting here like, this shit is fucking crazy. Like, this was an exciting way to end just a random Dynamite. Like, this wasn't even a go home show. I can only imagine like what is going to happen next week. Like, this makes you want to tune in next week because that's the actual go home show for fucking Forbidden Door. And so, like I said, we are starting to get a lot of matches set up for Forbidden Door, which we have, of course, Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega, which is going to be fucking insane. We also have Bryan Danielson versus Okada, which that's going to be great. And then we had Tanahashi, who mentioned how last year he challenged the then AEW World Championship, and because of that, this year he is challenging the world champion MJF. MJF was like, "No, fuck you, I'm not doing that shit." He's like, no, thank you. I'm not going to put over that, I forgot what he called New Japan. Like that, well, not suck ass, but he was like that little indie company or anything like that. And this isn't the first time that I told Tony Khan that I'm not going to do a match, so that be that. And so but it looks like Tony Khan sat there and made it official. And so I guess we're gonna have MJF versus Tanahashi. I mean, Tony Khan pretty much was
Bye-bye, bitch.
like, that's pretty much what he said to JF. So we're going to have MJF versus Tanahashi for the AEW World Championship. And then Sonata had placed an open challenge for IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, which Jungle Boy had accepted, and he asked for Hook to be in his corner. Of course, it feels like we're going to have some type of turn with Jungle Boy. Either he's going to turn on Hook or something like that. It's at Forbidden Door or maybe at another point. I was shocked that it was Jungle Boy challenging for the World Heavyweight Championship. I thought it would be someone else, a bigger name, in my opinion. But I guess, we have to give we would have to give the four pillars the opportunity. I forgot the word I'm trying to use, but we have to let the four pillars definitely give their time to shine and allow them to, they just had the fatal four-way match where they felt as though they should have main evented, but they didn't. Shout out to Dylan. What's good, JD? Thank you so much for tuning in, Dylan. Thank you for coming in. As we're pretty much recapping AEW Dynamite. Yeah, I thought it would be someone else who would challenge Sonata for the title, but we're going with Jungle Boy. Okay. I'm fine with that. So this week we have AEW Collision coming, and they showed a vignette this week of CM Punk. He mentioned that he's going to have an open mic and he has a lot of things to say. It's, of course, this is happening in Chicago. I'm hoping that's the first thing that happens is him coming out and saying whatever it is he's going to say, because that fucking place is just going to keep chanting CM Punk until CM Punk comes out. So we have a stacked card too for Collision. We have for the main event, we have Jay White, Juice Robinson, and Samoa Joe going against FTR and CM Punk. We also have Andrade going against Buddy Matthews, which is the reverse of the WrestleMania match that we got of Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. I'm going to think that Andrade is going to win, since it was Rhea Ripley who won on that side. And plus, this is Andrade's first match back. We'll have Miro in action. So it seems like Miro is going to go against a jobber or something like that. Anytime, of course, they say in action, that means it's pretty much a jobber. We're also going to get, I think, Tony Storm and Ruby Soho going against Sky Blue and Willow Nightingale. So maybe Thunder Rosa appears then. Who knows? Because Thunder Rosa is supposed to be coming back as well. I think I'm missing another match too. But yeah, so I'm excited to see what Collision is. I'm excited to see what Collision is going to be. If Collision, so what I mentioned when I was talking to CK on the AEW Dynamite review show yesterday is I'm very curious to how they're going to handle Collision. Is Collision going to be treated as a bigger production as Dynamite, where Collision and Dynamite are pretty much, one and the same? Of course, with Raw and SmackDown, even though SmackDown was kind of like the B show, the production for SmackDown is just as much as Raw. And I'm hoping that the people on Collision, kind of do what people on SmackDown did when it first came around, is feel as though it's a bit of a prove it type of situation where it's like, we have to be better. Like, let's wrestle our ass off. Let's cut great promos and stuff like that, so that Collision will feel like an A show, even though it's not technically the A show. I'm hoping that it won't be like something forgotten like Rampage, and I'm hoping that TNT will not start doing the whole, throwing Collision all over the place because of sports that is going on. Now, that Saturday time slot can be very good for AEW. The thing is, of course, a lot of sporting events and major sporting events, they especially UFC, they love to happen at on Saturdays. The good thing is, though, a lot of the main events though always happen like after 10 o'clock anyway. So if there's a major UFC fight going on, people, you can watch Collision and then tune in to the UFC fight or whatever. Of course, WWE runs their pay-per-views on Saturdays now. So, of course, like once a month, people more likely will tune into the premium live event. Excuse me. So, more likely people will tune into that premium live event. And then, of course, when NFL runs their Saturday game, especially during the playoffs, they'll be losing they'll be losing during that time too. But just overall in general, I'm hoping that they pull strong enough numbers to keep it going, because the Warner Discovery is very satisfied with the numbers that Dynamite is pulling in, which is around like 800,000 just about on average. So I wonder if there is going to be just as strong numbers being pulled for Collision as well. But I'm going to assume hopefully Jade Cargill will be appearing on Collision. And that Rampage will be then treated more like developmental or like a showcase for even like for Ring of Honor and stuff like that, since they're no longer doing AEW Dark and Dark Elevation. So, but I am excited to see what's going to happen with AEW Collision. It's going to be a lot of fucking wrestling, I tell you that, because now we got, especially people who watch other promotions. So we have Raw on Monday, Tuesday if you watch NXT, Wednesday Dynamite, Thursday Impact if you watch it, Friday SmackDown Rampage, Saturday AEW Collision, and then especially when there's pay-per-view Saturday, and then pay-per-view Sunday with AEW, especially next week. Yeah, definitely, especially next week. So next week, we will have Raw on Monday, NXT Tuesday, Dynamite Wednesday, Impact Thursday, Friday SmackDown, Saturday Collision, Sunday Forbidden Door, Monday Raw, Tuesday NXT, Dynamite Wednesday, Thursday Impact, Friday SmackDown / Rampage, Saturday Money in the Bank / Collision. So it's just going to be like somebody needs to start paying us some money. There needs to be, I mean, I know the incentive is putting on good shows and stuff like that, but geez, man, it's a lot, especially for those who watch other wrestling promotions as well. If you watch GCW, if you watch New Japan, like that's a fucking lot. And then for the people who loves to like watch old school episodes of wrestling as well, and then of course AEW has the nerve to sit there and put on like the biographies and all that other stuff on A&E. I think that's on Sundays. So it's just like it's a lot of wrestling. Like it's a lot. That is a lot. But yeah. Um First of all, shout out to the Universal Wrestling Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Everyone, put your ones in the chat for everyone and for all the amazing podcasts that we have here from the Bloodline Entertainment Network as well. Yeah, I'm excited though. I'm excited for this next 2 weeks because we have Forbidden Door. So I'm going to assume too with Collision is that we're going to have more matches put together and announced for Forbidden Door. We'll see because we still have the trios titles that can be looked at, tag team titles as well, even more singles matches with from New Japan as well. And then of course working towards All In and eventually All Out. I'm going to assume Adam Cole versus MJF will be for All Out. I think All In should be made strictly like dream matches. Don't worry about like storylines like that unless it's like the women's blood and guts or something like that. But All In should be nothing but dream matches, truthfully, because you have All Out the following week. All Out can have all the storyline matches, stuff like that. I think for All In, just throw everything together. I feel like with Kenny versus Osprey at Forbidden Door, I think Will Osprey will win there, and then the rubber match will be at All In. Because I think too, if I'm not mistaken, I think Berkeley from Cage My IQ said that AEW president said that the wrestlers will be available at All In if Tony Khan wants it to be. So I'm going to assume we're going to get Kenny versus Will Osprey again. Probably Tony Storm going against Jamie Hayter for the title at that point. Maybe have Saraya involved. Maybe Saraya versus Britt Baker at a certain time. Just throw everything to the fucking wall and see what sticks at that point. Because not only you have to sell the tickets, but you gotta entice people to pay fucking $50 and then pay $50 again the next week, which is a tall order because a lot of us are fucking cheap. Okay, so definitely needs to throw everything to the wall to see what sticks. But from what we're seeing that's coming with Forbidden Door, I'm excited for it. And then, what's coming with Money in the Bank too, I'm all excited for it as well. But yeah, I'm excited for everything. Yeah, I think that is it for everything for wrestling wise. Um, just an exciting week for wrestling, overall with AEW and with Raw and SmackDown as well. As we are starting to get into the summer of wrestling, CM Punk is back just in time for, I guess, another summer of Punk. And I can't wait to see how these feuds are gonna, what feuds are gonna come out for the summer and stuff like that, especially since we have SummerSlam coming, and then we have All Out and All In to end the summer as well. So can't wait for that. But that's it for the Wrestlebread podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. Oh, shout out to Courtney. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much. Hey, Jaydee. One's in the chat for all you guys. You guys are amazing coming in here. But yeah, that's it for the Wrestlebread podcast. But thank you so much for listening. You can catch me on Twitter at JDC137. You can catch the podcast at Wrestlebread as well. You click the links in the bio for the Instagram, the Facebook, the TikTok as well. You can catch this podcast live every Thursday at 9 p.m. EST only on the Bloodline Entertainment Network as well. If you enjoyed the first effing lady, Jaydee, you can also catch me on Twitch. Okay. Not only does the Bloodline do sports and entertainment, and movies, we do gaming as well. So we have Gaming with the Bloodline. Yours truly, I do my show, Late Night Gaming with Jaydee, on Mondays at 11:15 p.m. EST. So after all, hop on Twitch. You can check me out. I am playing Detroit Become Human on Mondays. You can see me, flip out on choices that I made and choices I didn't make. This past week, I had so much fun playing that game that I went a whole extra hour without even realizing it. And then on Tuesdays, another late night gaming with Jaydee again on Tuesdays at 10 p.m. as well. So if you're watching NXT, for example, check out NXT, then hop on the Twitch. You can check me out. I am playing Jedi Survivor on Tuesdays as well. You can also find the Tribal Chief Devin. He is also gaming as well on Wednesdays and Fridays at 1 p.m. EST, midnight Central, where he is playing Destiny 2 as well. But if you enjoyed what you saw here, there's a lot of other great podcasts as well. You can check out Cage My IQ, Circle of Debate, Clark Street Wrestling Podcast, Out of Here Podcast, Raw Dogging with De Niro, Roller Slappers, Top Rope Wrestling Talk, the Broadcast Podcast, the Debate Center, the Tim King Show, the Universal Wrestling Podcast, the Director's Cut, and then our newest show, Tea and Hot Takes, like I said, with Will Gray as well. Be sure to go to the website. A lot of great articles, a lot of great people out there. Don't be clicking all these different websites if you want to get opinions and stuff like that. You can get it all in one place with people who are passionate about what they're talking about. We have a lot of great rankings at wrestling related and even fantasy sports related too. If you are doing fantasy baseball, if you're about to do fantasy football, definitely go to the website and check out a lot of great articles about rankings and sleepers for your next fantasy league so that you can sit there and get the trophy or whatever it is that you're trying to go for as well. And also be sure to like and smash that subscribe button as well. Show that subscribe button more love than the crowd showed love to Seth Rollins on Raw this past week, okay? Coming up next week, we have the preview for Forbidden Door, which means we're going to have the panel. Once again, I'll be joined by my Bloodline brothers as we do our predictions for Forbidden Door. And then the following week, we're also going to be doing another panel as we do predictions for Money in the Bank as well. But thank you so much for listening. Like I said, be sure to go to the website, bloodlinenetwork.com. Be sure to check all of us out. A lot of great podcasts as well. Like I said, a great website, a lot of great writers and everything. A lot of people really dedicating their time to give out great information as well. Shout out to the chat as well, as everyone is showing love from Tom. Great show anyway. Ivan, awesome show tonight. Sis, Circle Debate, awesome show tonight. Much love. Thank you everyone for tuning into the chat. Thank you so much for listening. And until next time, guys, peace.
You're listening to the Wrestlebread Podcast.
With one beer.
You're listening to the Wrestlebread Podcast.
With one beer.